How my accident became a good experience, if that's possible, here in the Philippines. Anyway, there's my Rusi laying on the on the shoulder of the road, I guess, partly on the sidewalk, and going to tell you a little bit about what happened the other day on a real short ride I went on, and a little bit about the damage and my experience with PNP, Philippine National Police, and the Cebu City Traffic System out in South Road Properties. Had to take a ride out there, do a an accident report. Anyway, I was riding. I had checked in with a mechanic just to make sure my carburetor setting was correct, and I was just going around a few blocks and going to go back and park it in the garage. And going through a traffic light, right before the traffic light, the guy on my left started swerving towards me, and there was something in the road. He later said his mirror had fallen off in the road to his left, and he was pulling over to the right so that he could stop his passenger, two on that bike, could go and retrieve his mirror. Anyway, in the process, I thought I was past. I thought I was past them because out of the corner of my eye, I saw him look at me, and I thought he was moving away from me instead of towards me. And then, bam! I was on the ground. It happened so fast, I didn't even know what happened. Didn't even know what happened, what hit me. And we went down. His front wheel basically took out my back wheel, took it off the ground, and laid us over, both of us over. Neither of us were injured. I had a couple scrapes, couple bruises was all. So we were both very fortunate. And I think we all know the stories that we keep hearing that if you are in an accident in the Philippines, they're going to gang up on you. It's going to be your fault. You're going to be forced to pay for damages, property damages, vehicle damages, medical expenses, all that type of thing. I was very, very fortunate. I'll tell you a little more about that. Um, a PNP, Philippine National Police guy, came on his motorbike right there, and he did the report. Took, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, drawing pictures. I rode with him, actually. I rode with him. I couldn't ride my bike. They were going to take my bike to the barangay because punctured. It really wasn't safe. Punctured the fuel tank. A couple other things. The mirrors were gone. That's the intersection. That's the light. There's a light there. And yeah, I rode with him out South Road Properties to Cebu City Traffic Office, something like that. And we all went out there, and guy in the back office came out, brought us two drivers in, and he talked to him in Bisaya and asked him what happened. And basically he said, well, it's the student. He said it's your fault, the student's fault. And he gave him a bit of a lecture, I think, from what I could understand. He was explaining to him the rules of the road and why he caused the accident and how he should be aware of that. Now, unfortunately, he does not have insurance. I have insurance, liability insurance, basically, and I found out more about that. The guy told me, well, this insurance is if you hit a pedestrian, something like that. It doesn't cover. So anyway, I pay 500 a year, 500 pesos, $10 a year for that liability insurance. And I should have spent $100 a year and got comprehensive. Would have handled out of this type of thing. My girlfriend and some of my viewers have been telling me for a long time, get rid of that motorbike, it's too dangerous. And I even went down on my left side, which is where I broke my shoulder, 6 months ago. And didn't affect that at all. But now we have it setting up, and they were going to take it to the barangay hall here, and there's the puncture in the gas tank. That can be patched, I understand. Talked to a mechanic about that. And the wheel and handlebars are out of alignment, so that can be fixed. I've watched a couple videos about how to do that. those guys actually rode their bike out to South Road Properties. Now it turns out that they didn't take it to my bike to the barangay. The Cebu traffic pickup truck brought it out to South Road Properties. So when I was there, and they said, "Well, we're not allowed to bring it back." This was the guy here. "We're not allowed to bring it back there. We've got other things to do. You'll have to hire a somebody to tow it back, pick up. Do you know somebody?" And I didn't. But we tried to call a towing company, somebody that had a number of vehicles, a pickup truck and larger even. They could even they had a flatbed. They could even put a big vehicle on there, and couldn't contact them by phone. So a couple of these guys, they took me down into the barangay area, about halfway back to Cebu City, and we found them. Talked to the lady. She quoted me a price, 2,600 pesos, which is about 47 US dollars at the exchange rate, 55 pesos to the US dollar. And they were going to bring the big truck, and we talked about the size of my bike, and this we ended up taking their pickup, and it just fit in there almost perfect. And the one fella stayed in the back and kind of watched it. Had that issue with the gas leaking out a little bit. Now the owner, the lady lady and her husband who ran the towing company, and they had a backhoe and some other trucks that they did hauling of different types of things. Had a really good conversation with her before the driver showed up. This was on a Sunday also, and so not so much traffic. But anyway, had a good discussion with her, and these guys didn't speak very little English at all, so I didn't have much conversation with them, but they did a good job of tying it off and taking it real easy going back into town. I think it's about 10, 12 kilometers back, about 5, 6 miles at least back. Took us a good hour of their time at least, just driving back, getting it. We were halfway back to town, and then got the pickup. Came out here on the south end of Cebu City, loaded it up, went back the back roads pretty much, going back into Cebu City. Stopped at the mechanic that I know, not very far from where I live, and showed them some of the things, and they told me what they thought they could do. And so I said, "Well, I will purchase some parts, and when I get the parts and stuff, I'll get back with them." And my thoughts have changed a couple times over the last day, that maybe I would try to sell it just as is, just take it off my hands. I think I can. I'll replace the mirrors. I think I can get the front end straightened out. The speedometer was kind of busted. The cover was off of there. I'll have to buy a new speedometer set up. But otherwise, very little damage. We were going very, very slow. So basically just fell over. And my girlfriend has been bugging me for a long time to sell it, and she keeps saying, "You still think you're young and you can just do anything you want." And this made me realize that it really is pretty dangerous out there because of other people. And even my last couple accidents over many years ago in the USA were actually because of foreigners at fault in accidents in my automobile. One turning right in front of me, coming from the opposite direction, and saying, "Well, she had a green light." She was from Colombia. "She had a green light." Well, we all had green lights. It doesn't allow you to turn in front of somebody. And what I meant when I said this turned into a good experience, I had feared the worst, that I would be, that they would make up the story that, oh, it was my fault, and they would have lots of witnesses, because there were quite a few people gathered around. There were a couple motorbikes that stopped, and they were behind us. They saw the whole thing, and they stopped, and I talked to one of the guys, and he could have been a witness, but he went off to work for my side. But anyway, the student and the other guy that was there, they were honest. They told the investigator, how it happened, what happened, and admitted, understood that it was their fault. In the end, we shook hands and wished each other the best, and was a good experience with all the police officer, the investigator for Cebu City Transportation Office, and with these Filipinos was a good experience. And even though it's going to cost me a few thousand pesos to get this thing back up and running the way it should, it could have been much worse. Like I said, I got out of it with a few scratches. Don't think he had any scratches at all. Maybe he had a bruise in the end or something. But feel very, very fortunate, and just very happy it turned out the way it did. And I was telling this student and the investigator about the stories that we all hear about. Yeah, if you're a foreigner, you're going to be blamed for any accident. And the student even said, he said, yeah, they'll, a lot of people, they will try to make it sound like it's your fault and get you to pay for everything. So that can happen out here. So anyway, stay safe, safe travels, and I'll see you all next time.